This is Luke chapter 21, verse 25. And there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring. Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders and bishops of Great Millstone who taught us this truth and continually teach us this truth. Peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful elect. Lord willing, this could be an edifying video. Okay, so I just brought out this scripture. I mainly want to focus on, which I'm going to read it again. All right, this is Luke chapter 21, verse 25. And there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations, with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring. So, we've been seeing strange things in the heavens, what they're calling comets and, they're saying asteroids, which a lot of it is truly the chariots of the Lord. Okay, but I want to focus on where it says signs in the moon because April 1st, okay, we're going to have a pink moon. And we know April 1st at sundown is the Passover. Now, the moon isn't literally going to turn pink like this. I asked ChatGPT about it. We're going to read what ChatGPT said. But, this is still a sign, okay? Because the spirit was on brothers to say that they feel, and I agree with it. After the Passover, Isaiah 4:1 gonna take off in full bloom. Okay, because people are stressed about what's going on, man. People try not to talk about it. They still want to put on that facade like, well, it's not affecting me. It's not over here. They try to, still live their life. But when you talk to people about, the war, they don't really want to talk about it, or they, because I was speaking with a few people about it. Okay. When you speak to people about it, they'll say they don't like what's going on. They're scared. They're worried. Well, we enter in a time where reality is about to hit everybody in the face. Okay. Because you already seeing the effects of what's going on by gas going up, but it's going to get worse. Okay. Gas is going to go up even further. Food prices are going to go up even further. Okay, your electric bill going to go up. Hey, it's going to get hard to live on your own, to be that boss babe, independent woman. It's going to get hard, man. So, it says the pink full moon will be visible in the sky on the night of April 1st, which is the Passover. Okay. So, I guess it will have like that tint to it. But when I spoke to chat, let me go ahead and show what chat said. But first, I also want to grab those other scriptures. The one here we go. This is Sirach, chapter 43, verse 6. He made the moon also to serve in her season for a declaration of times and a sign of the world. So, our calendar, as we know, is based upon the moon. Okay, the new moon highlights the Sabbath. Okay, that's the new moon is how we know when the Sabbath comes in. Okay, not counting 7 days, Monday through, or however because you got camp saying that it's Friday sundown or Saturday sundown. Sometimes it can fall on that, but it's not. We didn't have a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday in the ancient world. All right. So, the moon is how we know when the first day of the week comes in. Okay. And also, it's a sign, as it said, a sign of the world. Okay, because there's plenty of scriptures that speaks about, the moon shall be turned into blood before the great and terrible day of the Lord. And we've been having blood moons. All right. It says, from the moon is the sign of feast, a light that decreaseth in her perfection. Okay, so, once again, we know our calendar based on the moon. But once again, I'm focusing on this situation right here with this pink moon, which let me grab what chat said. So I said, what does pink moon symbolize? And chat said, the pink moon is the traditional name for the full moon that appears in April. It doesn't actually turn pink, but it carries symbolic meaning tied to the season. So it's listing, what it symbolizes. It says, number one, new beginnings and renewal. It comes during spring, so it represents fresh starts, growth, and transformation, like nature waking back up, which, this is the real new year. Okay, not when, Esau says the new year is pretty much in wintertime. No, man. When, like Chad just said about spring, where everything is, a fresh start and, pretty much things are blooming. All right, that's the new year. Okay. It says rebirth and spiritual reset. Many people see it as a time to let go of old habits and step into a new version of yourself, So let me keep reading. Okay. It says fertility in life, because plants and animals are becoming active again. It symbolizes creation, abundance, and life energy, balance, and reflection. A full moon is always about illumination, so the pink moon highlights what's been hidden, helping you reflect and gain clarity. Why it's called pink? The name comes from a wildflower called creeping phlox, one of the first pink flowers to bloom in the early spring in North America. In short, the pink moon equals growth, renewal, and stepping into something new. And, I strongly believe, going back to what I was saying at the beginning of this video, because the Spirit had multiple brothers give their testimonies. Okay. Women are getting more desperate. Okay, they're getting more desperate because it's harder, to live on your own now. Because you got women, their head is high because they got their own car, they got their own place, their own job, their own job. They feel like, and even though they still be struggling, but they figure because they got all that, yeah, I don't need a man. They want somebody that's going to be on their program, someone that can help them out. They don't want to be a helpmeet to a man because they're worried about what they got going on. Well, in these times, man, there's going to be a lot of evictions, more layoffs, okay, more job cuts, prices going up, gas going up. It's going to get to the point where having the bare necessities is going to be valuable. But ultimately, who Yahweh Bahashim Yahawashi is dealing with, those men will become extremely valuable. Okay, and that's the times that we stepping in. Okay. So let me go ahead and grab that because, brothers that's doing this work, you're going to be valuable because you serve the Lord, and the Lord is going to make sure that you have food, water, and shelter, man. Okay. So let me grab this. This is Isaiah chapter 13, verse 12. I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. So going back to what it was saying about the pink moon, because it all ties in, it said it represents, stepping into something new. And brothers is sharing their testimony, how they believe that after this Passover, we truly going to see Isaiah 4:1. And it makes sense because things are getting bad out here. Okay, a false flag is inevitable. It's around the corner. Can happen any day now. Okay, to get this draft going. All right, you got videos coming out of soldiers getting deployed. And before they leave, they hugging their family, kissing their family. It's real, man. It's going down. Okay, and I'm listening to all these different analysts, and they're saying, yeah, we're really about to do the ground invasion. We're really about to do it. So hey, this Passover, and many brothers is saying it in the spirit. Of course, it's Lord willing. You know, this is gonna be our last one here in captivity, man. And the Lord, He's about to show His power. He's about to show His wrath, man. Okay, and He's also going to show His power, His mercy. Okay, through His servants, the prophets. Okay, because there will be healing. When that power fully manifests, there will be healing. People getting healed, man, to exalt the Lord. Okay, so that's all a part of the Lord making His men more precious than fine gold, because He's going to make it plain that He's dealing with them. Okay, and they're going to be highly sought out there, man, because people won't have their sanity out here. Okay, a man of the Lord, a servant of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, will have his sanity, and you brothers are the prize, man. And having an abundant mindset, because these women, they have an abundant mindset. That's why they won't give a fuck about leaving you on red or blocking you or cutting you off. They don't give a fuck, because their inboxes, their DMs is flooded. So they have the mindset, well, it's always another guy. I ain't got to respect this guy. And I had to kick a bitch out last night. Bitch was too disrespectful with the mouth. I let some shit slide, but man, especially when we in the full bloom of Isaiah 4:1, man, it ain't gonna be room to be letting shit slide, especially in front of our other women. Because when the Lord fully show who He's with, man, Lord willing, we are the elect, we the prize. And you bitches are replaceable. The servants of the Lord are not replaceable. So, long story short, this bitch, I was already seeing the pride on the text messages. But, we ain't a lion in the household. We do gotta take some shit on the chin to get what we want. But the bitch, it was just too, it was too much. I had to tell her to leave. And that's how it's gonna be in Isaiah 4:1, man. If you come back, to where your women at, and argument then went down, or something big then went down, you're gonna ask questions, who started it, and they gonna point the finger, okay, look, you got to get out of here, bye. We ain't tolerating no type of disrespect during these times, man. Because the Israelite man has been nothing but disrespected. So when the Lord show His power, man, we ain't tolerating that shit. You want to run your fucking mouth? Because like I was speaking with the brother you called last night. Even though the Lord is about to bring a great humbling to everybody, you still gonna have bitches with that pride, man. They gonna get left behind. All right, because the Lord is going to humble everyone. There will be no pride. Ooh. Look at this. Verse 11. Let me read verse 11. And I will punish the world for their evil and the wicked for their iniquity. And I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. Now, we know ultimately Esau, he's the main arrogant, proud man. But, all these women got pride and egos, man. All of them, got pride. And it's like, what the fuck are you, like, the scripture speaks about how the Most High hate a poor man that is proud. Like, these, man, it's crazy. A bitch could be living in a dump truck through still proud. Let me grab this real quick, man. This is Isaiah chapter 2, verse 11. The lofty looks of man shall be humbled, and the haughtiness of men shall be bowed down, and the Lord Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai alone shall be exalted in that day. So the Lord is going to bring heavy judgment on all these people out here, to the point where people ain't gonna be able to vent because everybody's gonna be going through it. People gonna be venting, and then whoever they vent to, they going through the same shit. So they ain't gonna be wanting to hear it. You know, the love of many shall wax cold. You know, everybody, all these people out here about to suffer, man. Okay, minus the men of the Lord. Now, you know, brothers will, you know, suffer, but I don't mean it as in the way these people gonna suffer. Okay, because, you know, some of us will be locked up. Some of us will be beheaded. Okay, some of us, you know, will be thrown in prison. And, you know, as the scriptures say, you know, we do got to, you know, count the costs and mention all of those things. But, you know, it's going to get to a point, man, where the Lord truly is going to just show his power through his servants, the prophets. And as the scriptures say, others shall mourn and weep, but thou shalt be merry and have abundance. Okay. So read verse 12. For the day of the Lord of hosts shall be upon everyone that is proud and lofty, and upon everyone that is lifted up, and he shall be brought low. So the Lord, he's about to bring all you motherfuckers low, man. Okay, so we entering something new, as chat said, you know, about the pink moon. In short, the pink moon represents growth, renewal, and stepping into something new. We're stepping into a time where Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai is going to exalt his name through his servants, the prophets. Okay, and all you people, you about to suffer. And we gonna laugh at you too, man. You know, but this is Isaiah chapter 4, verse 1. And in that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. So, hey, some brothers gonna have, because 7 just represent a number of completion. Some brothers can have 4 women, 7 women, 10 women, 20 women, 30 women, 40 women, 50 women, 60 women. Brothers gonna have women, man. You know? And they already getting desperate. Like I was saying, I was speaking with the brother you call, and, you know, he gave his testimony. You know, a chick, you know, out of nowhere, an attractive woman, you know, spark conversation, just started talking with him. It's gonna be more of that. You know, we was chopping it up on the phone. Spirit was saying it's gonna be more of that. Cause these bitches getting desperate, man. That whole spitting game, shooting your shot, man, that's wicked. You know, that's wicked, man. We going back to how it was with Isaac and Rebecca, man. Love at first sight. He took her in that tent and he popped her. Then we can get to know each other. You know? All this, you gotta go on all these dates, and which women, they pick and choose who they do that with. They only do that with a guy they don't really want. If it's a guy they really want, they make it known. All right? But that whole you going up and she give you her signal is she look at you. If she look at you, that's your signal to go shoot your man. Fuck, get out of here. Get out of here. Them days is about to be long gone, man. Ain't no brothers ain't bitch, you shoot your shot. All right? They gonna have to spit game. They gonna have to say something that separates them from the rest. Do something that separates them from the rest, man. Cause every bitch got a pussy between her legs. You can't come with just that. And most of these women out here, that shit has got high mileage anyway. But the Lord do got virgins out here. Okay, the Lord got some young tenderonies, virgins. Okay, and they gon' get the attention, man, by the men of the Lord. Okay, so I'm gonna read this again. And in that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach, because these women gonna be suffering. All right, they're gonna be catching pure hell. And like me and the bro your call was speaking on, see, it's gonna be a shortage of men. And it's gonna get to a point where they ain't gonna have no help, because these women, they always got some kind of help, whether it's help through the internet, whether it's, you know, they can stay with their dad, their mom, their grandma watch the kids while they can go have their fun. Well, grandma gonna be dead. You know, auntie gonna be dead. You know, it's gonna get to a point where you ain't gonna have no help. So all pride is gonna be gone. And that's truly when we, that's when we want our women. A woman has to need you. If she doesn't need you, there will be no respect. You know? But we in a time, it's so fucked up that even if a bitch needs you, she still can be disrespectful. But not during these times, man, because with a bitch, you can leave. I don't give a fuck. You see all these other women that want your spot, bitch. They gonna know they spot is wanted. And that's what's needed, man. So I'm gonna grab this in Isaiah 32, and then that'll be this video. And Lord willing, this edifying. This video is edifying. This is Isaiah chapter 32, verse 2. And a man shall be as an hiding place from the wind, and a covert from the tempest, as rivers of water in a dry place, as the shadow of a great rock in a weary land. So a servant of the Lord is going to be that. It's going to be like a shadow of a great rock in a weary land. You walking through the heat, about to pass out, man. You find that shade, man. You run in that shade. You going through the desert. You dying of thirst, man. You see that water. That's how the Lord is going to make his servant, man. He's going to make his men just like that shadow in that hot land, just like that river of water in the desert. Okay? A hiding place from the destruction. So you ain't even gonna have to try. You ain't even gonna have to say anything, brothers. They gonna do all the pursuing. We ain't gotta initiate anything with these bitches real soon, man. Asking them a bunch of questions. Cause that's how it is nowadays, man. You talk to a bitch. If she into you, she'll ask you questions and want to get to know you. But for the most part, man, these bitches got an ego, and they expect you to just keep chasing them. Them days is about to be long gone. So, yeah, that was it I wanted on that. So, yeah, hey, brothers, prepare, man. Prepare for a change in your life, man. Okay? Unplugging from this bitch fully. And the Lord is going to show his power. So, Lord willing, this was a edifying video and an exhorting video. With that, I'm going to say shalom.